Thanks everybody for being here. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Okay, first order of business is approval of the previous meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, sir. We got a second? Okay, thank you. Any comments from board members?
Keep on keeping on.
Okay. I'm going to turn it over to Tom. We're going to jump around the agenda a little bit. I'm going to let him do the committee training first, and we'll do election of officers, and then we'll take the other agenda items as they come up. So, Tom?
Okay. All right, so we do this training every year to make sure that our committees are performing in the appropriate manner, and we do it with all three committees. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes of your time to go through this. So interesting fact, we have over 40 volunteers that serve on BVPOA joint advisory committees. So that's quite a number, and the board and so forth. So the JAC purpose, it is the duty of each committee to discuss, analyze, and propose solutions for problems and opportunities within its area of concern and to make recommendations to management or the board. And you'll notice that I've referenced the policy number. So everything ties back to the policies, and our policies in total are available on the POA's website. So we always try and tie back to what the policies indicate. Structure. The Joint Advisory Committees report directly to the Board of Directors. JACs are appointed under the authority of the bylaws. Their composition and duties shall be directed by the board. So it just means that that's the report, that's the hierarchy. The board is at the top of the hierarchy, and then the committees report directly to them. Liaisons. So we have one of our liaisons is here, outstanding. She is a member of the POA Board of Directors. And so each board member will be named to at least 2 joint advisory committees, and they will act as that conduit between the board and the committees, the liaison, and make sure that information is transferring back and forth between the committees and the board of directors. And you see, I'm referencing policy 1.04. Management representative. So we always have at least one, but in most cases we have more than one. So for this committee, it's Rick and myself, and we got John over here. And then we have our corporate secretary attends every single one of the meetings. And also in our producer's booth, I call it our producer's booth, but behind that tinted glass is the individual that switches the cameras and makes sure that when we live stream, everything is going out. So those are the representatives that work on this. And you'll see that Rick always brings a notepad. I bring my notepad, electronic notepad, and we try and, if issues come up, we try and make sure we capture them so that if we have a task that the committee has asked us to work on, that we don't forget it. So, reports to the board of directors. So the Joint Advisory Committee are expected to submit their monthly minutes and provide a brief report to the board of directors on a monthly basis. Those meetings are open to the community. JACs are encouraged to send a representative. Sometimes Matt's able to make it, sometimes he's not. We always encourage Matt to come as often as possible. Alternatively, Matt will, or the chair will submit a summary to myself, and then I read it off. And since I'm at the meeting, it's usually easy for me to do that. Advisory. So it's in the name, Joint Advisory Committee. So the board of directors and management put a tremendous amount of value on the recommendations made by the committee. With that being said, the recommendations from the committee are advisory. So their authority is limited. So in the policy, it says the committees have no authority on their own. Recording of the minutes of the meeting. Meetings shall be open to the membership, and we have several members of our community here. Plus, we are currently live streaming. You see all the cameras and the microphones and so forth. And we want to be transparent about that and be aware of your conduct of what you say during the meeting, since they are streamed and being recorded. So we want to make sure that we conduct ourselves in an appropriate manner. Open meetings, once again, the meetings are open, so we allow the membership to attend and speak to the committee, but we do have limitations. Jessica will put up the 3-minute time limit, and if you're prepared, 3 minutes is typically sufficient to get your point across. Community input, so once again, it's open where you can provide suggestions and recommendations. And member open forum, we do limit them to 3 minutes for your thoughts. Each JAC shall provide an opportunity at each regular meeting for members to express their concerns or suggestions. Meeting handout, so any documentation that is handed out during a meeting is open, available to everybody. So at the entrance we have the agenda, and you can actually use the QR code and view that electronically. Way back in the day when I first got here, they had, well, these documents are for the public and these documents are for the committee only. And I was like, no, you can't do that. Any document that is shared is open to the membership. Meeting length, we try and encourage the meeting length to be kept to 1 hour. There are occasions when the meetings do run longer, but in most cases when the meeting runs longer than an hour, you can probably look back on it and realize that, well, they probably could have done everything within an hour and it just took too long in certain areas. So we always encourage them. We do have staff members here, and we want to make sure that their time is being used efficiently. Area of concern, it is the duty of each committee to discuss, analyze, and propose solutions for problems and opportunities within their area of concern. So we want to make sure that every once in a while it happens, not that often, but we'll be in the Lakes Committee and someone will start talking about the golf courses. That's not your area of concern. So we need to make sure that we stick to your area of concern. Uniquely compiled information, the association shall not be required to uniquely compile information for a member unless agreed to by myself or the board. So every once in a while a property owner or committee member will come to usually me and they'll say, we want this really detailed report and we want it in this very specific way, and we're like, yeah, we don't do that. Now we do make a lot of our stats available on our website on a consistent basis, but we're not going to compile information unique unless the board authorizes it. Annual budget recommendations, we actually started early, but each July, or by July 30th, each of the JACs are encouraged to provide management with a list of budget recommendations and to sort them in order of importance. We encourage the JACs to be realistic with their recommendations and expectations, and that's always an important thing. We're not asking you to go out and get bids and so forth. We'll go do that, but we are looking for your input. Please be respectful of staff time while interaction with staff is encouraged. Please do not schedule lengthy meetings with the staff. We've had a couple situations in the past where committee members or so forth have scheduled meetings, and some of those meetings have turned into 2 and 3 and 4 hour meetings, and that's just not necessary. Subcommittees. So the JACs can assign up to 4 members of their committee to work on a subcommittee, to work on a special project. This committee's done that before, where they created a subcommittee to look at the wake boat issue. At the conclusion of their work, the subcommittee will report their findings and recommendations to the JAC. Subcommittees have the option of having their meetings open or closed to the membership, so subcommittees can be closed. We encourage them to be open, but it's not required. No minutes are taken for such meetings. We always want to make sure that we're always focusing on the member experience, and look at your use and tours of the amenities from the eyes of a member, with an emphasis on what steps can be taken to improve the overall experience. You know, how can we do better? How can we improve the member experience? Whether that means that we need additional signage or we need an additional amenity. One of the things that was brought up is having additional kayak storage, and Rick jumping on that, and we've added about 50 additional kayak storage. So that improves or that enhances the member experience, and so that's what we always want to try and accomplish. And many thanks on behalf of the board of directors and the management team. We thank the committee for their willingness to volunteer and help further our community. So a little bit of a whirlwind, but many of you guys have sat through this before, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. All right, before we move on, do any other thing, I'd like to get we have to elect new officers, so we have to elect chairman, vice chairman, and secretary. And in order to do that, we have to individually make a motion, and it has to be seconded, and then we vote on whether or not we want that person in that particular role. Anybody want to start? I'll start out. I'll nominate Kevin Adelson to vice chairman. I'll make a motion to nominate Kevin to the vice chair. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. All right, so we need a secretary, and I've talked to Jeff Reedy, and he's not going to be with us today, but he is willing to continue in that role, and I don't think anybody is fighting for that position. So I would also like to nominate Jeff Reedy to the position of secretary. Second. All in favor? All right, that one covers. Chairman.
Nominate you for chair.
Okay. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, got that out of the way. Okay, I want to welcome Kelly Austin. Kelly is new on this term on the Lakes Committee. He's been here before, done a really good job. Kelly, welcome back. Thanks for serving on our committee. And now I think I'm going to turn it over to Rick and let him give his talk.
We've had quite a back and forth. We've had quite a back and forth this year with buoy placement on our lakes, and so I put together a presentation that's going to show our current placement, where we feel like they need to be, and then there would be opportunity to discuss later. So I'm only talking about the three lakes where we have full power boats can go full speed. So the wake lakes are what we're talking about today. Just to show you the overall map of Loch Lomond, we're going to go down into finer detail in a minute, but these are the locations of the buoys as they are on the lake. You can see the no wake are in red, and they're at the mouths of the 5 large coves, and then where they're doubled, and then at the smaller coves you'll see a single. There is one here at the marina that looks a little bit out of place, but for those renting boats, that'll encourage you to go right instead of left. So that's why that one's there. And then the no ski is in yellow. So we'll move on. First, we'll look at the Tyree Cove. So I've got the locations marked, the GPS locations marked, and at this location, we are at 660 feet across the lake. Just for reference, it's adjacent to 45 Rath Drive and 31 Stonehaven Drive. We'll just move along. And at Granton, this is where we had some discussion earlier this spring. This is the historic location, and it's the current location of the buoys, with those being the coordinates. We've got the depth marked at each spot, and it's 558 feet across, adjacent to 35 Evanton Drive and 41 Edelston Drive. And this slide shows the mistake that we made earlier this spring. The location is in orange. It was approximately 100 or 200 yards further out towards the mouth of the cove, about 600 feet. At the area where they were, the width is 615 feet across, and at the historic location, it's again 558 feet across. So that's just showing the two locations. Stony Kirk, at the mouth of the cove, we're looking at 600 feet across. We got the coordinates there, and it's adjacent to 5 Robin Lane and 1 Glamis Circle. And then at the marina, we've got 2 buoys just in front of Lake Point there, going out towards the main part of the lake, and then 1 just to the left of the fishing dock. That's just to remind people that the main lake is in the other direction. And at that area, it is 515 feet across. So. Then the cove directly across from the marina, commonly referred to as Docks Cove or Jack's Cove. We have a double set of no-wake buoys there with the coordinates and depths. 745 feet across, adjacent to 13 Mary Cook Lane and 8 Barra Lane. Now we'll look at the no ski area. That's kind of in a kind of semicircular pattern where Granton, Tyree, and Stony Kirk kind of merge. Those no ski buoys are there just to prevent skiing from back into the coves. And with all the coordinates listed, 1,365 feet across, that would be from this point to this point. And I show what it's adjacent to, and just so we can pinpoint these for the future is well, I've got all those coordinates there, so we know where they belong. We can move on. So on Lake Windsor, again, the no wake and no ski buoys there. I'm not speaking in great detail about the buoys that are at the ends of these small coves. It's pretty self-explanatory that there's no wakes down those coves. And we do have those coordinates, but I did not include those on this slide. So at Pontoon Park, you've got the buoys kind of just in front of where it really necks down pretty hard. At that area, you're at 475 feet across. I've got the coordinates listed there. It's adjacent to 30 Wandsworth Drive and 4 Fulford Circle. Lake Windsor no ski area, again, kind of a moon-shaped to prevent skiing and tubing down the London and Goose Island Cove, which is here, and then the Pontoon Park Cove there. And we've got 900 feet across in that area. It's adjacent to 115 Mayfair Drive and 69 Kensington Drive. Then we've got sort of the confluence where this is the London Landing ramp is here, so this area gets a lot of traffic. So we have a buoy here. We have one going back towards Goose Island where it's really shallow, and then on out towards the mouth we have a set of buoys there as well that are indicating no wake. So we'll just move along a little bit. And now we go to Lake Anne. Lake Ann, if you recall, a couple of years ago, we decided to remove some of the redundant buoys, especially in Stony Creek on Loman. There were 4 sets of buoys heading out from the ramp. And for people unfamiliar to the lake, you go past a set of buoys that says no wake, and you assume that at that point you can open it up. Well, then you've done that, and then you go around the corner and you see another set of buoys that say no wake. So we feel like that multiple buoys in that location actually had a negative effect on boat speed. So we removed those. I felt like that was the right thing to do. This is one buoy that we continue to have on Lake Ann that, if the committee agrees, we could remove this buoy and just have the no wake here, because you enter the lake, you see the no wake, you assume that you can open it up, and then you get to this buoy and you're like, uh-oh, I messed up. So we think that could reduce some problems in the future. And then we got the no ski again in yellow there. We can look at these in more detail. I'm not sure if it's necessary because Lake Ann's kind of small, but that again just shows the area in greater detail with the coordinates listed. And across, let's see, I don't have the distance across right here, but I might need to give you that in the future. But if you want to continue on to the next slide, down at the dam, we've got skiing. If we had no ski buoys, they would be right on top of the no wake. So we just have no wake buoys there, and just to prevent washing up on the docks and the shoreline in that area. So, and then because I was given a presentation anyway, I wanted to show that we now have some native vegetation coming back in Loch Lomond. This is the naiad that we used to have that we liked. That was eradicated by the grass carp. It's starting to come back on its own. There's an existing seed bed in the lake where it came from. And also this is the northern milfoil that we have in quarantine. Just keeping an eye on it to make sure we have no hitchhikers, unwanted hitchhikers, and then that will eventually go in the caged area on Loman. So, and one more, we are constructing the structures to hide the porta potties. We've had money for 3 of these this year. We've got one at Granton that's going in. We have one at Lake Brittany that kind of sticks out in the open, and also at Lake Norwood. So that's what we're doing this year, and got started on this today, actually. So with that, any questions?
It's a really nice lawn work there too. It looks like a golf course.
When you have plenty of rain, it's nice, isn't it?
Thank you, Mr. Rick.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for Rick?
Hey, this is Brett. I have a question.
Hey, Brett, go ahead.
Rick, are you saying that the buoy in Granton, the no wake buoy in Granton, is now in its historic position, so where it was last year and the year before?
Yes, according to satellite imagery from the last 2 years.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else for Rick before we move on to other topics?
Would you explain, I'm from Minnesota, just moved here with my wife. Milfoil is a big problem up there.
There's two kinds of milfoil. There is a Eurasian milfoil, that's the one that's invasive and really gets carried away. The native northern milfoil is not as bad. The reason we're looking for some vegetation, if you're not a fisherman, is to provide habitat for small fish and the overall betterment of the fishing in our lakes. Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Any other questions? All right, so I think it would be a good idea if we took a vote on,
I think you probably want to have, community comment
all right,
before.
let's do that first.
Because I think some of the people are here
All right.
to comment on this.
Okay, so let's go to that next. Community, anybody want to say anything? Nobody? Okay. All right, so I think we ought to take a vote on, the proposal would be to maintain buoy placement in Granton Cove and current locations. We could make it for all lakes, really, where they are today, if you want to.
Why don't you go lake by lake?
Okay?
And Rick did point out the one at
Lake Ann.
Lake Ann, and if the committee could make a determination on, potentially eliminating that one boat and buoy.
I'll start out. I'll make a motion to maintain buoy locations on Lake Ann and to eliminate one of the buoys coming out of the launch ramp, because I do think it's confusing.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Any opposed? Brett, you there?
I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, somebody want to make a motion on Windsor and Loman?
I'll make a motion, Loch Lomond, leave the buoys as they've been historically.
Okay, we get a second? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we need one more motion on Lake Windsor.
I'll do it again.
All right, we get a second? Thank you, Steve. All in favor on Windsor? Any opposed? Okay, those motions pass. Rick, do you want to give your regular report now? Sure.
All right, just a reminder about the Lake Ann drawdown coming up. November 2nd to March 1st, we draw down 3 inches a day. 6 feet is what we're looking at in total. That's doable unless we get a lot of rain, which may slow things down. We will be resurfacing the courtesy dock at the ramp and also cutting more aggressive grooves in the ramp to prevent slipping. Let's see, the POA Rangers are really starting to ramp up this summer. The June total was 6,371, 416 by boat, 114 and a half lake hours, 395 non-members removed, and then the anglers to recreation statistic that we're collecting now, we had 2,087 anglers versus 3,289 other recreational users. So the Rangers are still having issues with the connectivity on our point of sale system, and we're missing sales there, and we really need some help in figuring out what the connectivity problem is there. We'll be getting with IT again on that problem. Grounds maintenance, we began work today on 30 additional kayak spaces at Tyree. That'll bring our yearly total to 82. And we now have in our possession the kayak launch materials. Construction will begin on that as soon as the kayak racks are complete. And I have the receipt for the fly tires for Tom. Yes. Dams are being mowed for the second time this spring. We're moving forward with Olson and Associates. They're doing some background work and trying to get a bid together for what it's going to cost us to have them resubmit for our dam permits and what we need to do to get them ready to go. We're holding a dam safety workshop with the regulatory agency on dams on September the 29th. We currently have all positions filled. We had a new gun range attendant and a new lake ranger start work with us since our last meeting.
Hey Rick, that dam seminar, do you have a date and time?
It is September the 29th.
You know where
it's all day.
And where is it going to be?
It's going to be at the The city police station, that
In Bell Vista?
complex, yes,
The new one.
yeah.
Can you send out a reminder? We'll have a meeting between now and then, but could you send reminders? Because a couple of us
yes.
might want to attend that.
Yeah, and they'll need to sign up, actually, they need a head count,
Okay,
so I'll send that information out.
thanks.
I just wanted to report that all of our lake and stream E. coli sampling has been good so far this year, no issues. We're analyzing our spring electrofishing data, and we should have something to report next month. Chris Fuller's still looking for a Secchi volunteer for Lake Avalon, and his office number is 479-855-4472, if someone would like to step up and take care of that for us. It's about 10-15 minutes worth of work once a week on a Monday, if you can help out with that. We don't have anything so far in our grass carp trap. As I mentioned before, our northern milfoil's in quarantine, and the naiad showed up on Loch Lomond. It was in the Stony Kirk Cove. And Mike Callgrove has been our $100 winner for the carp raffle every month this spring so far, April, May, and June. He intends to win that $100 every month, but it sure would be nice if someone would step up and offer some competition for him. So we're still looking to take as many grass carp as we can. And that's all I have.
Okay.
I've got
Go
a
ahead, Kevin.
question and this is more of a recommendation with Mike Callgrove. We owe him a huge thank you. Is there a way we can send him a certificate of appreciation, or, I mean, something other than
I'm
the
sure.
$100 that he's getting
Yeah.
every month?
I'm sure we can. That would be a very nice thing to do.
Yeah.
From the Lakes Committee.
From the Lakes Committee, from the POA, whomever, but I figured I'd bring it up here and at least get the ball rolling if it needs to be.
And it might be something that we can use that, we can publicize it a little bit, maybe
Right.
get some other people interested.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we need a motion, I'll make a motion to send him a certificate of appreciation.
We'll take care of it. We got it.
Okay,
Appreciate it. Hopefully he can recruit some people too.
yeah.
Steve?
Hey, Rick, good job. I got a question. Do we have a ballpark idea on the engineering cost? We're not gonna be surprised, right?
We might be a little bit surprised.
We might be?
Mhm.
Okay, okay. So,
It's not a small thing.
yeah, that's of some concern if we're surprised.
Yeah.
Paul, I'll get to you in a second. Hang on a second. Go ahead, Kelly.
I just had a question. What is the plan for that broken kayak launch at the marina? It's been there, the ramp's been broken off since last year, and I'm not sure if that's even a good place for a kayak launch, but
Well,
we can fix it or move it, or,
that's under the area of the marina,
okay,
so I really can't speak on that.
okay.
I have three things to say. First of all, I'd like to thank the Fly Tires for their continued work with us and their contributions to, our latest contribution. Thank you very much, and we appreciate all you guys do. Second comment I had, Rick, I noticed on the visibility reports this week that we only have 2 lakes that fall within our 2-meter recommendation, which is Norwood and Rayburn. The rest of them, all the big lakes, are clearer than that. So what is our go-forward plan?
We're to fertilize. We fertilize when they reach 2.5, we fertilize down to 2.
Okay,
Is what we shoot for.
okay.
So I know last week there were a couple lakes that were flirting with that area, and it looks like they're there now.
Okay. And the last thing I had is we just came off the 4th of July weekend. I got a few texts over the weekend for some minor issues, but I'm assuming everything went fairly smoothly.
Fairly smoothly. No big issues that I've been made aware of.
All right, anybody else have questions for Rick on anything we've talked about?
Just one thing, is there plans to move the grass carp funnel or revise it or anything? Just hope for the best.
we're going to continue to monitor it through the summer. We had the opportunity to install that last spring or last winter when the lake was down, and installing it somewhere else with the water up would be really difficult. So, but it's not to say it's not on the table, but right now we're just going to keep things the way it is.
Do we have any
Hey,
estimate?
Rick, I have a,
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Brett.
Matt, I have a question. Yeah, it seems to me on that carp trap deal that the openings are extremely wide. There's two openings and they're both, 4 feet across. And I'm just wondering how is that the opening determined? Because it seems like they should be a lot narrower. Because where they are now,
The
carp can go
opening was
back there, but
determined
carp
through
can
the
come right back
literature.
out.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are you finished?
Yes.
I didn't want to talk over you. But the opening is based on what we discovered in the literature. It works as they go in. It's a funnel going in, but it's if you're familiar with a minnow trap, it kind of works on the same notion that going out, it's much harder to find the hole out. But we were afraid of pinching it off anymore would prevent them from ever going in, and maybe that's happened.
Are you actively baiting it back there?
We baited it earlier with straw, and it didn't seem to bring them in. Now we're going to be going with cheap dog food or fish food to try to get a handle on it.
Yeah, it seemed like the fly tires had, when they were getting ready for their tournament, they had something that they were using. I don't know if it was just straw or if they had some sort of alfalfa or something they were using that they felt like were getting them drawn in pretty good. You might want to check with the fly tires.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it was fish food, but yeah.
One other question I had, Rick, was are we still on schedule with the perch in the ponds to be released, and how are they doing? Are those perch all still alive?
They're doing fine. We're seeing good numbers of fish in all 4 ponds. We of course don't know how many we have until we harvest, and we've got fish anywhere from 1.5 inches in length that have just spawned this spring up to, some of our fish are 6 inches plus. But we will, when we harvest in October, we will screen the small fish out, put them back in the pond for another year, and the big ones will go in the lake.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, do you have any estimate on the grass carp over the last couple of years, all the things we've done, how many we've maybe eliminated and how many are left?
Well, you get some natural die-off anyway. So we've taken out in excess of 100 to 150, something like that. And
that includes the tournaments and
yes,
the bow fishing and all that.
and our staff, when we see them, we take them out. But there's been natural mortality as well. They, as time goes on, it's kind of counterintuitive, but as they get bigger, they eat less because they're a whole lot less active.
Okay.
So that's why we're starting to see some of the natural vegetation come back, which I'm really encouraged to see. But yeah, we're just going to keep hard at it.
Keep at it.
Yeah.
One other question. Most of the lakes just have a single trash can at the dock. Maybe there might be one up by the restroom or whatever. Every time I go fishing, I spend more time picking up trash than I do fishing. Because people are lazy.
Mm-hmm.
And is there any way there's really nothing to tie it down to, like we've got the one at the marina or at the boat ramp? Is there another option for trash receptacle somewhere on the lakes?
I mean, one could go at each little courtesy dock. I don't know that, I mean, I see people just leave their worm boxes right where they sit.
Well, I went last week and the fish cleaning sink was just covered. I mean, it was full chocolate bars that had melted all, but you know, it was a complete mess.
Yeah. Well, if there's not a trash receptacle at each cleaning station, we'll make sure that
There
happens.
was, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Paul, did you have a question for Rick? Happy birthday, by the way. I heard you just turned 60. Is that true?
Yeah, 60, yeah,
Okay.
for the second time. Yeah, Rick, I heard you mention drawdowns on the lakes. I'm on Rayburn for another week. I just wondered, when's the next drawdown for Rayburn?
Rayburn historically was one of those lakes that never got drawn down.
Yeah, right.
And we drew it down a number of years ago.
About 4 or 5 years ago.
We had, yes, and it had a lot of silt over the inlet valve for the drawdown.
Big deal.
It's on the schedule. We make those for sure. We finalized those for sure in the spring, May, June timeframe. It is. I'm not honestly sure if it's due for next spring or not.
But it's in the schedule somewhere.
Yes,
It's going to be done.
It'll be in the next year or two.
Good. Yeah, I know that first drawdown was really a challenge, but you got it done well. Yeah, I wanted to thank Matt too. I served with Matt for a number of years in the last decade on this committee. He's still chairman. He ought to be given some kind of an award. I think he's been chairman now for at least, what, a decade or almost?
Probably about 8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. Congratulations for all your good work and service.
Okay. The last thing I have on the agenda is the capital budget recommendations for next year. And speaking with Rick in the last couple of weeks, he mentioned that the fisheries department would like to buy a deionizer and a auto analyzer. And I thought those ought to be moved to the top of the list. And he can explain further, but both tools, to my understanding, would make the fisheries lab much more efficient. And I think that's what we're all about. If we can make those guys more efficient, they can spend more time on things that really matter. And so you want to talk about those two things, just to kind of let the committee know what they are?
Sure. So the deionization equipment takes our tap water and makes it so it's usable in the lab, makes it pure water. The system that we have is about 10 years old. It's kind of like an old motor that you have to kick and to get it to work. It does still work, but it is dated, and it leaks. We have to change filters too often, and I'm not sure how much longer we'll be able to get components for it. The auto analyzer would allow us to take our water sample and put it in the machine, and then it would analyze most all the constituents that we look for really quickly. It would produce a lot less waste. It's kind of funny that something that tests water for purity and that kind of thing produces a lot of waste on its own. It does produce toxic waste, and the new system produces much less. It's about $5,000 a year for us to dispose of the toxic waste properly. But the system that we do have, it does still work. It takes about a week every month to do our lakes and our streams, and the new system would take things down to about 2 days a week. So it would give the guys at the lab, guy and gal at the lab, 3 additional days a month to put towards other activities to help the lakes. So.
Okay, any other questions or comments or concerns or things we need to add to that list? Because I think the list, we've kind of talked about it every month. I think we're pretty much there. I talked to Scott a little bit before the meeting. He had a couple of comments. Anybody else have anything? The only other thing I have left on the agenda is, we talked about some signage that I think Carol recommended last time, that we were gonna
Yes.
review.
I do have a list of areas where bigger and better signs would be appropriate. I've reached out to our marketing, and I don't have a mock-up yet on that, but we'll get it to you next month. Mhm.
All right, anything else today that anybody wants to talk about? Because I think we talked about the kayak launch, correct? Okay, thought so.
Hey, Matt,
Yes, Brett?
do we have funds to increase the cart removal from Windsor and from Loman? Do we have the money to do that? Do we have the desire to do that? I mean, I understand we're taking $100 a month. I mean, can we spend $500 a month and try to get more of those cart removed?
I don't currently have that money allocated for that.
But you could add it to your recommendations.
Yes, we could add it to our recommendations for next year.
So-
But to finish out this year, we don't have anything beyond the 100 a month.
So number 2 on our list is funded intense carp removal and native aquatic vegetation reestablishment program. So that's like way up on the priority list, right under maintain an annual budget for enhancement, nutrient enhancement. So I think we got that covered. Anything else before we close it out? Comments, concerns, question? Kelly, when's the next meeting? You always used to tell us when the next meeting was.
Well, that
Hold you to it.
would be second week of August, which would be the 12th.
August 12th. All right, hope everybody can attend. Thanks for everybody for being here. Meeting adjourned.